we'll work on really kind of holding stillness and getting into the connective tissues of the body. Yin can be quite challenging because we're trying to maintain that connection to the present moment, and we're holding stillness when we can feel these intense sensations starting to rise in our body. There is a difference between intense sensations and pain. So we want to be connected enough that we know if something's painful to back out, right? But connected enough to be working to our edge without going beyond it. So everything I say is an offering, and this is a time for you to fill up your cup and to take care of your needs. So I thought we would start just kind of right into that kind of midst of intensity. So I'd like to offer us to start in broken toe pose, which is as glorious as it sounds. And this will be our opening meditation. So you're going to come onto hands and knees and curl the toes under. So for some of us, as we're on hands and knees, you might already start to feel some intensity kind of dialing up in the soles of the feet. If you don't, you might walk your hands a little bit closer in towards your body and stack your shoulders over top of your hips and your hips over top of the knees. A blanket could be underneath the knees if you need a little bit more support. If you're ready for full-fledged broken toe pose, we're just going to start to sit back onto our heels. If your knees bother you, taking a blanket and just kind of bringing it right in between your knees is going to help to open up a little bit of space in the knees. And then let's lengthen through the spine. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. So again, we have those shoulders stacking right over top of the hips. Take a soft gaze or close your eyes if that feels okay. And perhaps you're starting to feel that sensation rising. Perhaps you're beginning to feel a little bit of discomfort. So the practice of mindfulness or being in the present moment allows us to be right here. So can we be here with our breath, with our body, with these sensations that we're feeling without labeling it good or bad? Notice when the mind wants to wander to when are we uncurling our toes? And without being angry with ourselves, we acknowledge it. This is a practice of awareness. Come back to right here, right now. And I think broken toe pose practice is a beautiful opportunity to reflect upon that idea that sometimes we might not have control, right? So we don't have control of the sensation that's happening at the moment, but we have control of how we react. We're going to take 5 more breaths here. Can we be present? Letting those inhales and exhales enter and exit through the nostrils. You guys are doing a wonderful job. 2 more breaths. Take 1 more deep breath in. And slow breath out. As you inhale, come onto hands and knees. Let those toes uncurl. Let the tops of the feet tap into the mat. And notice how that sensation may have started to already subside, right? And let's go ahead and just take an inhale, step your right leg to the back of the mat. We're going to press into the ball mound of that right foot and just shift your weight slightly into that right heel. Let's just take a little calf stretch for a moment. Take a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. So we're going to start to make our way into dragon pose. Lift your right leg up, and as you exhale, you're going to take your time stepping that right foot towards the outside of that right hand. And so right now I got my knees stacking right over top of the ankle. I'm going to turn my right toes slightly off towards the right. And then I personally like to tuck my left toes under, lift my left leg up, and just kind of slide that left leg further towards the back of the mat. As you can see, as we take that left leg back, we're getting a little bit more opening in that left hip, left quad. So you could stay here. You could roll to the outer edge of that right foot. For some of us, it might feel okay to come down to the forearms. I like to incorporate a little rocking from side to side. Now, if this is not a shape that feels conducive to your body making right now, maybe your left knee doesn't feel good down, you could come onto your back and potentially just make the same shape, or just dropping that right knee towards the right armpit. Keep the right foot flexed to protect through the knee and the ankle joint, and we have that length within the left leg. So taking whatever path is best serving you today, in this moment, right here and now. You can tap into that yogic breath, cultivating inhales and exhales through the nostrils. Let the breath be your companion throughout our practice. We have one more minute here. Take 3 more breaths. When you're ready, if the forearms are down on the earth, you could start to lift up. You might connect that right foot down towards the earth and just start to press the tailbone back, straightening-ish through that right leg. If there's other movement that feels nice to you, maybe circling through your right hip or stepping back into a down dog, you can do that. Let's take a few breaths to just explore what you need today. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our left side for a moment. So if you have a blanket or a pillow and you want to stretch that left arm long, maybe resting your head on the blankie draped over your arm, or rest your head on the pillow, you can. Another option would be you could prop up onto the forearm, shoulder stacked over top of elbow. I want you to think about pressing up and out away from the earth so that we have a length within that left side body rather than kind of collapsing down into that left shoulder. So your choice. With the hips stacked and the legs extended towards the back of the mat, go ahead and lift your right leg up, flex through the right foot, and then just take your right leg forward. So the more that we can take that right foot in line with the right hip, the deeper this will be. If your foot doesn't touch the earth, feel free to bring whatever prop you'd like underneath that right foot. So this is an option right here, just kind of passively stretching through that right leg. You could potentially bend your left leg. Use your right hand to grab a hold of that left foot and get a little quad stretch in here. You could also just bend the leg if the hand can't reach the foot. One of my personal favorites is to grab a hold of that left foot and then start to rotate my right shoulder down towards the earth and open up through the chest as well. Choose whatever variation feels like home in your body right now. Use each breath as an opportunity to just soften. Soften the places that maybe tension has crept into. Soften the face, the neck, the jaw. We got a couple more breaths here. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. If you have that grip on the left leg, extend your left leg long. So from here, bend into your right knee, and then we're going to roll onto our bellies. So we'll keep that right leg bent and off to the side. You could cactus through your arms if you'd like, maybe take your left cheek down to the mat. For some of us, it might feel better to just a little triangle out or diamond shape out of the hands by bringing the pointer fingers and the thumbs together and let your forehead rest in that diamond. This is half frog, a little passive way to get into the hips. So the more that we can take that left knee in alignment once again with that left hip, the deeper it will be. You're more than welcome to stay here. If you want more, you're going to straighten-ish through that right leg. Nothing to do but be here right now, present with yourself, taking care of you. Take another deep breath in and a slow breath out. You can take your time. We'll begin to just extend that right leg long to meet the left. And then just start to bring those forearms out in front of you. We're going to come into a little Sphinx pose. So once again, kind of like I was saying, if we were propping onto our side, you want your shoulders stacked right over top of the elbows. The fingers are spread nice and wide. My palms are rooting down towards the earth, as well as the tops of my feet. And I'm pulling my chest towards my thumbs. I'm pulling the thumbs towards my chest and just creating a little bit more room in the low back. There's many paths you could explore here. Maybe it feels good to take the legs wider. Maybe it feels good to maybe stretch through the arms and take the arms long. I like to, if I'm choosing that option, turn the fingers slightly out, roll the heads of the shoulders back. And again, just observing if you've gone a little bit past your edge, give yourself that permission to shift or move. Likewise, if you're in a posture and all of a sudden it feels like you can go a little deeper, explore. I got a few more breaths here. Take another breath in and a slow breath out. When you're ready, take those palms, bring them underneath your shoulders. We're going to press our tailbone back towards our heels and make our way into a child's pose. So yogi's choice. A deeper way to get into the hips would be to bring the big toes together, take your knees out wide. If you have that pillow or that blankie and you'd like to use that as some support, you can. If your low back is bothering you this morning, bring the thighs together to support the low back. You could always take this on your back and just draw your knees into your chest. Let the hips settle towards the heels. Expand in the backside of your body. And see if you can stay present with your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. If you want to take your gaze into the opposite direction, If you have one cheek to the earth, feel free. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Take your time, rising up to your tabletop posture when you're ready. If you'd like to stretch into a down dog for a moment, stretch into a down dog. And when you're ready, arrive onto that stance of hands and knees, shoulders stacked right over top of your wrist creases, knees underneath the hips, and just step that left foot to the back of the mat. Let's take that calf stretch first. So for a moment, just shift your weight into that left foot. Press down into the left ball mound of the foot. Send that left heel back. Take a few breaths here. And then let's go ahead and step that left foot to the outside of the left hand. And then choose your path for dragon here. Do you want to stay right here? Do you want to tuck the right toes under and walk that right leg to the back of the mat a little bit? You could sink down into the hips. You could roll to the outer edge of that left foot. You can stay upright or you could make your way down. There's so many different options and paths. And I follow that school of thought that one way is not the right way, right? That we all have different bodies, different anatomical needs, different things that we feel fill up our cup. So it's important for us to just really hone in and to listen to that divine teacher that's inside of you. And it's not just in some of us, it's in each and every one of us. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can start to bring the palms underneath the shoulders, maybe shift the hips back and straighten through that left leg, or find any kind of movement that feels good to you. Maybe it feels nice to press back into a down dog or to circle through that left hip a little bit. And then we'll come on to our right side when you're ready. Either propping up onto that right forearm or resting that right arm long so that you create a little pillow for your head. And then let's go ahead and lift that left leg up. Flex through the left foot. Take that left leg forward to whatever feels good to you. So we'll keep that left foot flexed once again to support through the knee and the ankle. And you could stay here. You could bend your right knee, take the heel towards the glute, can grab a hold of the foot. Do whatever feels right in your body. If you have the grip on that right foot and you want to work that left shoulder down towards the earth, opening up through the chest, you can. That, for me, also feels like it takes this a little deeper into my left leg. Connect within. Observe where you feel this. What muscles are working. What places we can loosen our grip and release a little from tension. We have a couple more breaths here. You can go ahead and just release that grip from the right foot. Extend it to the back of the mat. You can start to bend into that left knee. And let's go ahead and roll all the way onto the belly for that half frog pose. So the top of that right foot will come down towards the earth. You can use a blanket or not. You could bring the arms to either cactus arms, or if you'd like to make that diamond shape with the head, you could do fingers, you could do that to rest your forehead in. And then there's always that option if you want to extend that left leg a little bit. take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, start to bring that left leg back to meet the right. Maybe let your hips just kind of rock from side to side, or windshield wiper through the legs for a moment. And then let's come back up and make our way into a seat. So from a seat, we're going to find caterpillar pose, better known as Paschimottanasana, in our typical yoga class. So it's going to be a forward fold, which is a nice stretch for the back side of the body. It's also a deep stretch for the hamstrings. If your hamstrings feel tight, you could potentially just take a little blankie and just kind of bring the blanket like right underneath the knees, closer towards the thighs, so right underneath the backs of the knees and the thighs. Otherwise, you could stretch your legs long. We're going to root down through our seat, draw up length within the spine, stack the shoulders right over top of the hips. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, tilt your pelvis forward. So we're hinging from our hip creases and carving out space within the low back. And then once it feels like, okay, there's no more length within that low back to be created, then you can start to round in the upper back, let your head be heavy, bring your hands to wherever they naturally come. You could rest your head, if you'd like, on a pillow or a bolster, some blocks or not. Keep the feet flexed and pointing up towards the ceiling. Send the breath to any of those places of tension or tightness. We're halfway there. Great job. Check in with the face, the teeth. See if you can soften. If you've left this moment, it's a practice, friends. We keep coming back. Invite yourself back to be home with yourself right now. Let's take an inhale. Begin to slowly rise up. Good. Find any little counter movement that feels good to you. Maybe you want to plant the palms. Maybe you want to bend the knees. Let those legs windshield wiper from side to side, or anything else. And we'll come into one last kind of seated posture before we make our way on our back. We're going to practice Virasana, hero's pose. Now, if coming back onto the knees doesn't feel good to you, you're going to come onto your back, walk your feet wide to the edges of the mat, and you're going to let your knees drop over towards the right. And I'll tell you when to switch and take the legs over towards the left. So this option, we're still getting that kind of stretch in the hip flexor. Otherwise, if we're on hands and knees, this time tops of the feet are coming down towards the mat, and kind of like broken toe pose, we're taking our seat towards the heels. If your knee doesn't feel good here, bringing a block, a pillow, or a blankie right in between your seat and your heels, again, is going to create a little bit of space for you in the knee joints. So there's options you can play around with. You could stay right here. For some of us, it might feel okay to start to lean back and maybe bring the palms behind you. Some people might even be able to bring the forearms down to the earth, or the whole entire back of the body down towards the mat. And again, I want you to check in and see with what feels good in your body and give yourself permission to take that. You might find that you choose one option, and as we hold, we're able to shift and evolve and maybe move into a deeper option. Most important thing is that we are listening to that guidance from our body. If you're on your back, you can start to take the legs over towards the left, keeping the feet wide. If you're on your forearms or on your back, start to make your way up to your forearms. You can begin to press your way upward, taking your time. And then let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. Maybe move through a cat and a cow. If you're on your back, you can stay right there and we'll meet you there. And then any way you want to get there, we'll start to come onto our backs. And once you come onto your back, let's extend the legs long. Take the arms overhead. Maybe find a full body stretch first. So stretching through the toes, stretching through the fingers. Walk your arms and your legs all the way over towards the right. Create a little arch on that left side of the body. And then make sure that you're plugging the shoulders and the hips still back down towards the earth. If it feels good, you might explore, what does it feel like if you cross your left ankle over the right? And then just stay here for a moment, savoring the space that you're creating in that left side body. Space from that left hip all the way up towards the left shoulder. Uncross that left ankle. Walk the legs and the arms back to center, and then just take your legs over towards the left. Take the arms over towards the left. You can play around with crossing that right ankle over the left. Let the hips settle down towards the earth. Feel the subtleties of the right and the left side of the body. Feel that deep rhythm of your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Couple more breaths here. Uncross the ankles. Take your time, walk the arms and the legs back to center. Maybe come back into that full body stretch if you like. Let's just close with a spinal twist. You can draw the knees into the chest. And then just stack your knees over top of the hips. As you exhale, let's take the legs over towards the right. And then anchor down through the shoulders. As your legs go towards the right, maybe you gaze over that left shoulder. It's not so important that the legs touch the earth, that it is that the shoulders ground down. So if your legs are kind of hanging out in the air, feel free to bring that blanket or the pillow or the block underneath to make the earth a little bit closer to you. You can take your gaze up to center. Take an inhale, lift the legs up. And then as you exhale, take the legs over towards the right side. Establish roots through that left shoulder. Let your gaze drift just beyond it. And breathe. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Bring your gaze to center. Take the knees up to center. And let's just come into Ananda Balasana, happy baby. So knees are going to drop towards the armpits. Feet are going to extend up towards the sun. If it's available to grab the outsides of the feet or the shins or the thighs, you want to pull the knees downward towards the earth. Feel your low back pressing into the mat, and at the same time, feel that extension of the feet lifting up towards the sun. Lots of times in our yoga postures, we talk about lengthening into opposite directions. Here we're grounding down, but we're also rising up. If it feels good to draw one heel in towards the groin, straighten-ish through the opposite leg, feel free. Take another breath in. And a slow breath out. You can gather your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big old hug. And just decide what's next for you on your journey this morning. Are you ready for rest? Extending the legs long in Shavasana. Do you want to take maybe legs up the wall or legs minus the wall? Just extending those legs long. You want to cover up with a blankie or cuddle up with your dog, whatever you need. Giving yourself that permission to just gift to yourself what's going to be serving you to conclude out your practice. When you're ready, start to just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let your head roll from side to side. Maybe run your tongue along the gum lines. And just return your hands to rest on top of your heart, offering gratitude for yourself and this ability to connect within, to offer to yourself the love and compassion that each one of you so deserves. And I'd like to leave us this morning with the principles of Reiki. If you'd like to repeat silently in your mind's eye, you're more than welcome, or say it out loud. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will be grateful. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I will be kind to every living being. Baby steps, everyone, just for today. You got this. From my heart to yours, I so humbly bow to you. Namaste. Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I just want to tell you